Tin Star was made by Software Creations in 1994 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It was released exclusively in North America, which is remarkable considering the developer is British and the publisher is Japanese. It was the first SNES game to support all three input device types: controller, mouse and light gun. The game's story takes place in the Wild West. Sheriff Tin Star and his deputy Mo drive to a new town in which they are going to work. They are attacked by a gang led by a certain Blackboard. Arriving in town after the fight, they learn that the gang causes lots of trouble there. After some battles with the gang, a severe antagonism establishes. Over the course of the game, Tin Star falls in love for the mayor's daughter Maria, and Mo is taken hostage. Tin Star is then exiled by the villagers because they believe a rumor strayed by Blackboard saying that Tin Star shot a child. The mayor declares Blackboard the new sheriff in process. From exile, Tin Star returns as a masked stranger and manages to defeat Blackboard and his gang. The game is very story-driven. Most of the 26 levels are interrupted by narrative sequences propelling the story. The levels are divided amongst the days of 1 week during which the whole game takes place. The game has 4 different kinds of playstyles: shooting from first-person perspective on rails, protecting Tin Star as he rides or walks around, not unsimilar to games like Laser Ghost or Baby Boomer, dueling levels in which the player first has to shoot a revolver cylinder in order to draw before the enemy can be shot, and finally bonus games in which the player shoots bottles. The player fires a revolver which has apparently infinite bullets and an infinite capacity. When a compatible gun is plugged into the system, the game starts with a calibration dialog. This calibration can be redone during the game with the ease of a button press. This feature also acts as a pause function. The player may replenish health by shooting copper cans, which are marked with a red cross. If the player manages to not pick up any health in a level, a bonus round takes place where stars have to be shot with a limited stock of ammunition. The game has a charming art style which does remind me strongly to games made by LucasArts. Most creatures in the game are robots, which was presumably done as an attempt to turn down violence. However, considering the brute attitude of Nintendo at this time, the game is amazingly unconcealed, featuring big-breasted women in swimsuits and an enemy type which tends to show off his naked buttocks. The music sounds really good and matches the Western theme very well. The point score is money, which the player may use to save the game. The cost to save the progress increases the further the player gets. Depending on how much money is left over at the end, one of 3 endings can be seen. Having less than $750,000 will make Maria to refuse Tin Star's proposal of marriage because she wants a wealthy husband. Having more money will unlock an ending in which she refuses because Mo made a fortune of $1 million and marries him instead. Having more than $1 million left in the end will unlock a non-canonical joke ending in which Maria turns out to be a disguised Blackboard all along. That this ending is not serious is clear due to several occasions of on-screen coexistence of both characters. So no matter what, Tin Star finally finds his love somewhere else, as the story in the manual is told by his descendants. The game has 3 continues. If those are used up, the whole game starts over. Starting the game from a saved state will reset the number of continues back to 3. Personally, I don't like the game. I really appreciate the selectable difficulty and the save feature though. I found the game to be very repetitive. Many assets, such as levels and bosses, are reused several times over the course of the game. Furthermore, the story was a notch too silly for my taste and I wasn't able to get involved. What bothered me the most was the non-perfect accuracy. I found myself often recalibrating the gun as I felt hits were not detected properly, and the quality of the calibration seemed to drift over time. I think Tin Star is not a bad game by all means, but it is certainly not amongst the best light gun games for the SNES library. There is a notable mistake in the manual. The colorist filled two villains as if they were humans even though they are robots in the game. The problem possibly occurred because those two characters wear far more clothes than the other characters and therefore look more human. The colors of some characters swap around even in the game itself. The most notable case I have found is Lucky Johnson, who changes from skin color to violet to blue to green. The cover looks adorable. It gives a good hint to the lovely art style used throughout the game. As for the short length of the review, I want to talk about a characteristic of North American SNES games. Their cartridges have another form than the PAL and Asian games do. To make those games fit into a non-native system, the player has to use an adapter or cut the console's housing. I use an open source cartridge adapter developed by a user named Micro, who is an active member of the circuitboard.de forum. I really love its small form factor, giving the setup a nice appearance. Furthermore, I like the fact that I don't have to cut my Super Famicom Junior, on which I play and record the games. This is the end of the review. My name is Ben. I thank you for viewing.